See how it turned into a square?
Oh.
Right.
You look great. Honestly, a little worse for pauper class, but not too bad. Sorry I couldn't pick you up. The car's dead, and it gave me more time to sleep. No, really, I was at work, so I don't have to go in tomorrow. We can sleep in. Anyway, the train was faster, right? Sorry. I would have liked to have picked you up.
No, it was fine. And faster.
How's the mood in New York?
Does they have wine here? Nervous.
Don't know if it's any good. Have a beer. What's nervous?
New York is nervous, of course. Everyone's wired and jittery and not the 1/18%, of course. They are too busy fighting over billion-dollar apartments. But my people, my wounded friends, well, we can't forget. We can't forget how it used to be. We have people begging all over the place now. But only where there are other poor people. Like the G train. Ugh, do you remember the geographically undesirable G train? I feel abandoned. Bert is in Mexico with his family, and Beth is, I don't even know. So I had nowhere to run and hide. I had to come here. Now.
This may not be a refuge for long. We've been told to stock up on water and tinned food here as well.
Ugh.
And plastic. There's no hope anywhere. Austerity rules.
I think I'll have a Pinot.
If I buy enough, I could build a bunker.
Buy enough what?
Plastic. To be safe in. Cheap rent.
Hey, what about that old corduroy suit from Mark? That one that you wore to death? Hey, that probably has enough grit in it to protect you from a sandstorm. It probably even floats.
I'm saving that one for radiation. It'll glow a nice mauvish color.
Lovely with your eyes. Are you happy that I'm here?
Of course. Didn't I pay for 1/30 of the ticket?
Sport.
I hate sports.
I've been doing yoga.
You're a good bender.
You noticed. Well, maybe I should take up martial arts. If I find myself in the middle of a scuttle, it could get dicey.
Just get a gun while you can. Can't you buy them at the chemist's there?
Drugstore. No, you remember I'm left-handed and it would never work. I would shoot myself.
Next time, if you're worried, just carry a can of soup with you wherever you go.
Why?
You can throw it at any dodgy type you see. The lentils especially heavy.
I see. You're stoned. Oh, wait, person. Hi.
Civility's passe. The clock is ticking. Alice is down her hatch.
I'd like to find a hatch. You know, the bears got it right. They just dream away all the fear and wake up in spring everything anew. You know, bear cubs, they learn all their life lessons in hibernation in the womb. You know that? Peter, it's just gonna get worse and worse. It wasn't that good to begin with. When will these people stop listening to these idiotic, pale-faced men? They're all completely mad. You accepted. And other than my hair cutter, I love you the most.
What was that you wrote about the beards?
It's a fantasy that I had after watching all that footage of those terrorist cells. In the fantasy, the men were eating cotton candy, but what do you call it here?
Candy floss.
Yes. Looks like a big white fluffy beard. And they leave the hideouts and they go to the battlefield, and suddenly they rip off the floss beards and they smear them all over the enemies. Very, very sticky and effective.
Well, that could stop an M14, but you're wrong. The cotton candy beard is not a weapon. It isn't even a beard. The white goo is, in fact, the pupa stage of a baby fundamentalist. Left to grow, it will hatch and then breed uncontrollably.
Like the pod people.
Yeah, all religious fanatics are born this way. You may have noticed that the cotton candy beard is a regular feature of religious leaders. Except the Far East, where there's no God and therefore no body hair, but except for gurus, lots of hair there, but that's not the Far East, is it?
The Pope doesn't have a beard. I miss you with a longer beard. In your Jesus stage. Oh, you really knew how to use it. The face basically just disappears, and one is forced to stare into powerful eyes. Castro did it, Lincoln, all those hypnotic guys. And you save a fortune at the barber. I mean, women can't do that.
Unless they work in a circus. But women have tits. Much, much better than a beard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you never look into their eyes then.
You're right. Mesmerizing. Stare into my eyes or stare into my breasts. Either way, you get there.
It must work. I'm here.
I'm here too.
I'm peckish. I wasn't able to eat a thing on the flight. Turtle soup, in honor of hiding. I was reading my diary before I had left, and I found a dream I had about 2 years ago. Do you remember it?
I don't remember where I put my feet, let alone your dreams. But lately I keep them tied to my ankles and it helps. But my feet, that is, not the dreams.
There were all those falling bodies. They were black. Didn't I call you? No, you were in London. I'm certain I called you. I told you that I didn't want to go through this alone. Maybe it was all part of the dream.
No, I have a vague recollection. I told you to have a smoke and get back to sleep. But of course it was a dream within a dream. Clever you. Clearly premonitory. Timing was exquisite.
I am glad you finished your A-levels. You can interpret my dreams and supply the supporting data. I'll have the soup du jour and a merlot. Anything for you?
Oh, I'm fasting. Preparing for the anti-gravity room. Another pint.
So, how long can I legally stay here this time?
With extensions at the Home Office, 6 months. Unless you marry someone.
I think it's going to be easier to get refugee status than it is to get married. What do you think? Thank you.
I'm working on it. It's just the kids.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I can't wait to see them. I brought loads of gifts.
Yeah, they love you without bribes.
Yeah, but why take a chance?
You're silly. They do love you.
Ramona called. She's in Berlin. She loves it there. Ultimate intellectual freedom. They have good protests. Do you remember Occupy? Somebody discovered movable barricades at that time. You know, suddenly you're just cut off from your group and this metal bar is shoved into your face. I met Soup Man. Do you remember him? Tubby man. He used to throw soup at political leaders in the 60s. He's got bladder issues now.
Thank you for the medical update.
Oh, thank you. Anyway, so he, at one of the last thingies, he was cut off by one of those barricades and he had to pee. And so he threatened them that he would pee right there if they didn't let him go. They let him pee in his pants. Crazy.
I read where a pregnant woman was stuck behind one of those in Oregon. She's calling her baby America.
It's awful. The whole lot of it. We should just move to Germany. It's ironic, isn't it? My great-grandfather, he couldn't wait to get the hell out of Frankfurt. And now I just want to go there. Their whole budget, it just goes right to the arts. I mean, if not all of it, at least loads.
Well, that's because they have no military. They learned from Hitler. Yeah, art. Better let them all be artists. Imagine how many more great films would come out of the US if the war budget was obliterated. And more Cassavetes or Jarmusch.
Yeah, and forget grants. They're all up in smoke. You know, honestly, I would take money from Saddam Hussein if he weren't dead.
Remember, it's all upside down. The hourglass will turn again and again. But of course, not before the real bang up.
How close are we?
Very. So glad my father didn't live to see this. He died thinking the world was improving.
It's hard to believe in anything anymore. This is nice though. Boy, did I need that.
And Lady Di, she would have hated this.
Princess Diana? That's such a strange thing to say.
Now really think of it. Exhausting. She'd be up to her eyeballs in new projects. She'd have so many more children to care for. Can you imagine the lives, the children of war-torn Neverland? What their memories are going to be like? All those safe bombs that killed their siblings. Disney will have to work overtime creating fantasies so children can forget what they witnessed.
It's an interesting story. The ending is so clear to us. Why not the rest of these idiots? We're not special. We're idiots too. And maybe we're wrong. Maybe we'll all be saved. It's too salty.
Take strength. A few years back, I read something. It was at a White House candle ceremony. And George Bush, then president, said, I couldn't imagine someone like Osama bin Laden understanding the joy of Hanukkah.
He said that. That's crazy.
Texas.
You know my cousin Bruce? The one who works in pharmaceuticals? Well, he says he works in pharmaceuticals, but really he's just an old rad. A Harvard-trained toxologist. He was telling me that they're trying to make this new anti-trauma med. A med you take before the trauma occurs. It just sits in your bloodstream and then bursts open the second the first leg gets blown off. You don't feel a thing. You just hop on down the yellow brick road happy as a clam.
It should be dispensed by divorce solicitors. Just give it to the couple before they head into court.
It's going to be a part of the soldier's first kit, along with an iPad, of course.
I've got a name. Tramadol, like the planet.
What planet?
In Slaughterhouse 5. Vonnegut.
Tramalfador. You were close, though.
Should we go there? Take out Tramadol and fly off to Tramalfador. Show me what the... No?
Let's just start with a B&B in Penzance. We'll see where it goes from there. But you know, I don't think you can get fish and chips there. Sorry. Beginning to lag.
Yeah, you probably aren't pressed to find them in Cornwall either.
Mm-hmm.
Could you settle for a McDonald's fish sandwich?
You know, one of the reasons I came was because your mother said that you were hanging about the house in your dressing gown, never leaving. They say that's one of the ways to help evil. Go to a shut-in and tell them, I love you.
Yeah, that's possibly the worst thing you can do to Satan. He hates home visits, makes his blood boil. You are an evil assassin, if there ever were one. Let's get you home. I'll draw a nice bath and you can sleep for hours.
Do you think that I'm a traitor for leaving my country in one of its greatest needs?
You are America. You're the part they don't recognize. We get used to you, cocky.
Who said that?
Muhammad
What?
Ali. Muhammad Ali. You're in good company with the Patriots. Now let's go.
Do you have milk at home? And tea?
Yeah, I used my ration card. We're off.